Coming out of the darkness, coming into clarity, I hope. That's a fuzzy picture I'm getting. It'll settle. If you haven't already, now's the time to refresh. Let me type that in. Hello. I'll wait just a moment, make sure everybody's on. Perhaps somebody could type in the chat bar to let me know if I'm coming through both audibly and visually. This is an exciting time. Feels like a strong circle is forming, a strong group coming together. Good energy on Heather Ash's call. We're going to build on that energy. We're going to actually deepen it and personalize it a bit. Hello, Gail. Hello, Gabrielle. So if anyone's having problems seeing or hearing me, please type that in. Heather Ash reminding everybody that the first 20 people to sign up get a free private coaching session, which usually costs more than the entire cost of this program. So that's a good deal. Okay, someone's asking how to sign up. I think the easiest way would be to go to the TOSI website. That's www.toci.org, and you can follow the information given there. Oh, she just posted the link. There it is. Yahoo. Heather Ash, on the money again. Of all the parts she would say that she loves about me, I'm really surprised it was the brain that she picked. Because Heather Ash has known me for over 10 years. And I have had epic struggles with my mind. Bringing myself into coherence, bringing myself into the light. And for me, as is true of many of us Westerners, it's the mind which is the chief obstacle to us realizing our dreams, to us reclaiming our truths. You know, no matter how good a teaching is, unless we find a way to make it part of our existence, it's an abstraction. And that's the reason for this part of the program. I think of this part as activation. This is a chance where we figure out how to bring these teachings into our lives, how to make them a part of our lives, how to start living them instead of just thinking about doing them. So a lot of energy. This is going to be a personalized time. We're going to be encouraging people to ask questions. You'll be able to send questions in advance over email or bring them up as they arise on these broadcasts. I think it's a really good setup that Heather Ash does the teachings as a pre-recording, so everyone will have access to those at their leisure. They can watch them, they can digest them, they can maybe watch them a couple of times. You can write down any questions they may have, anything that arises for them, such as how do I apply this particular thing to these circumstances that I find myself in. And that's a real benefit, because that is the encouragement to live them instead of just think about them. There are a number of points that Heather Ash mentioned that I'd just like to go back to and highlight. Most of these are direct quotations or maybe a little bit of paraphrasing in there. Let's see, I marked five statements. Fear is a story that limits us. A lot of times we think of fear as an emotion, and it does have an emotional component. But for many of us, that emotion almost immediately kicks off something mental. A story forms around that emotion, And that is what keeps getting replayed. That is the thing that tends to work against us, to hold us down. And Heather Ashe, in that vase story, so clearly showed an example of how a little incident can be the seed for a story to form that we may carry with us for the rest of our lives. It may have a crippling effect on us. A lot of times, almost all times, these stories are lies. They're not an accurate reflection of what happened. They're not an accurate reflection of our essence, of our being, of our potential. They are a story that limits us. Here's another quote. If we believe we are flawed or wrong, our actions come from fear. So to completely undo a fear many times involves seeking out the beliefs that cause that fear to keep reverberating inside of us. So a lot of our work in this series will be self-investigation, self-inquiry, to bring those beliefs out, to get them out where we can see them. And then we have the option to change them. As long as they're running in the background of our consciousness, as long as they're staying in the shadows, they're very, very hard to deal with, very hard to catch up with. You don't need to know the initiating story. You don't need to know the original circumstances, as in the vase story. It's enough to elucidate the beliefs that are operative in you right now. So much of our work will be concerned with what's going on in the present. Sometimes looking in the past can cast a good light, can help us to understand how something got set in motion. But oftentimes, if we just focus on what is true for us right now, that's enough. The four agreements help to break up and shatter the old structure. And of course, the old structure is made of old stories. And the old stories are based on lies. A very powerful part of this course will be dismantling the lies that we find within ourselves. We seek to act from love, not fear. That's the whole purpose of this course. Taking action from love is fun as you reclaim your energy. There is a joy to the untangling. And I thought it was great somebody posted the question, is it really possible to untangle it? Yes. Yes, indeed it is. I've been at this for 10 years, and I can't say that I've completely untangled everything yet. But compared to where I started from, the change is just amazing to me. I have essentially reclaimed my life by following the four agreements, other Toltec teachings, and energetic practices. And yes, there's more to do. I can imagine it even being better. But almost every step of the way has brought me joy. Much of the time, it's been an exhilarating work. Although it does involve going in there, figuring out the stories that are operative, and dealing with some of the junk. I want to clear out the junk, make space for the good stuff. Let's see. If anybody wants to post any questions or comments as we go, that's fine. I'll look over periodically. But there will be a period in this broadcast where I ask if there are any questions. So you can either put those in as they occur to you, or as Heather Ashe suggested, just write them down to yourself and then type them in later. Fear. Boy. It cripples lives. So many people in this society act from fear. And unfortunately, that seems to be a dominant part of the programming that we receive as children, as adolescents, and as adults, to act from fear. I want to lead you through a brief exercise where we will actually invite fear into our bodies. Now, this may sound counterproductive, but it will help us to understand fear a little more. And many of us invite fear into our bodies all the time and aren't aware of it. So I ask you to close your eyes, sit back in your chair maybe a little bit, get comfortable in your seat. And imagine you're driving into a town or a city. Maybe this is a familiar place to you. You're stopped at a stoplight. You're looking around. It's a pleasant day. Nothing special on your mind. You're just sitting there waiting for the light to change, daydreaming a little bit. Light turns green. You accelerate, move out into the intersection. And all at once you see a car approaching, running the red light from your left side. Feel that in your body. Imagine what it would be like. How would you react? Car's coming right at you. There's no time to get out of the way. What are the physical sensations? Okay, make a note of those. You can open your eyes and let's just shake that off. Yuck. And I ask you to type in 2 or 3 comments. What were the physical sensations that you experienced during that exercise? What did you feel? So please share those. Fear. Yes, indeed. But how did that fear feel? What were the sensations that accompanied it? Fear is something of a mental concept. But what was the physicality? What was the body doing when fear was running through it? Physically turning away from the impact. Yes. Definitely. Trying to protect yourself. I might die, thought. Body shaking. Yes. Out of control. Realizing that it looks like something's going to happen that's going to have a seriously bad impact. My life passing before my eyes. Wow. You went into that very deeply. Stomach dropping. Yes. I know my stomach clenched when I was doing the exercise with you. There was a tightening of the muscles in there. I wonder if other people had that as well. Chest tightening. Yes. Feeling of anticipation. What about breathing? Did anybody notice anything about their breath or their heart rate? Shouting, oh my God. Yes. Any other comments? Holding the breath. Yes. Very often people's breath gets constricted and shallow. They'll start panting, gasping. Taking in a big gulp of air, okay? Clenching for impact. Yes, a lot of times the entire body tenses up. One of the worst things you can do, but it seems like it's a natural reaction. So many people do that tightening. Whereas if we could manage to stay relaxed, even in a serious car accident, our chances of avoiding injury would be greatly increased. Wanted to run, but had no place to go. Almost stopped breathing. Heaviness in throat, heart area. Wow. Great comments. Thank you for going through that uncomfortable exercise with me. I appreciate your willingness. But realize, a part of you knew that was just an imaginary exercise. That you were sitting safely wherever you are, engaged in a group visualization. But part of you bought into it. The mind, the part that accepted that as reality, accepted it so strongly that the body involuntarily did what it would have done if that was a real situation. So the fears that we imagine can have a similar effect on us as a real fear. And it turns out in our society, most fears are imagined. They have no physical basis. The mind is running, creating a story about what might happen, and the body, our physiology, responds to it as if it was happening. And so all of these things, the changes of breathing, the clenching, the clutching, the wanting to flee, all those things would be experienced. I want to share a couple of quotations with you about fear. First one's from Carl Augustus Menninger, an American psychiatrist. He said, "Fears are educated into us and can, if we wish, be educated out." Whew. That's a good thing for us. Fears are educated into us and can, if we wish, be educated out. And of course, here he's not referring to something like an impending car wreck. He's referring more to the beliefs that we harbor, like, I'm not good enough, or mom likes brother more. Those things can be educated out. We can free ourselves from fear that's generated by belief. Gandhi said, "The enemy is fear. We think it is hate, but it is fear. Because fear is the crippler. It's fear that holds us down, that keeps us small, that keeps us disempowered." Les Brown, a fantastic motivational speaker, said, "Too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears." How true. One of the purposes for putting this program together is to help people to start living their dreams more earnestly, more completely, and to stop living their fears. If anybody has any questions or comments about anything so far, be happy to entertain those. If you have specific questions about the upcoming program, and again, it starts a week from tonight, you're always encouraged to get in touch with the office's goddesses at TOSI, River and Sheila, wonderful human beings. You can reach them via the email. Let me see, I've got that here somewhere. That email address is TOSI, TOCITX, @gmail.com, or you can give them a call at 512-233-8480. What if you don't even know your dream? Good question. I'd suggest it's time to find out. And a lot of times the first step to finding out is to dismantle the old structure, which has kept you small, which has kept you from your dreams. So we go against the fears. We start changing the motivation from fear-based to love-based. And things start to arise. We start to realize what our passions are. We start to see that we already possess gifts of great value. We start interacting with the environment and with others in novel ways. And as a result, our dreams become more clear to us. We start realizing things like our calling, our truth. We start touching and living from those deeper places in ourselves. And then the dreams just start rolling out. Doesn't have to be a strenuous search. Doesn't have to be striving. Doesn't have to be a struggle. They just start appearing. But the first thing is to get rid of the limitations, to at least mitigate them, so we can reclaim our natural perceptions, so we're not guided and limited by our fears. Well, I think there was one other comment. Oh, yeah. There was one other comment on Heather Ash's section that I wanted to mention. Will living the 4 agreements help with loving ourselves? You betcha. Yes, indeed. Because those beliefs that generate our fears tend to generate our self-judgments as well. So as we undo those, we get past the need for self-punishment. We get past the feelings of unworthiness, unlovability. We realize that we deserve the best in life. And in turn, we bring forth our best. Always doing our best. We'll each week be following one of the agreements. Roughly. It's going to be a new approach, as Heather Ash mentioned. She's got some new material she wants to share. And so, although we're centering it around the 4 agreements, she's obviously going to take it in some new directions and go to some new depths with it. So, yes, sort of. Well, I'd like to lead you in one more energetic practice. And this time I won't ask you to visit your fears, to subject yourself to any more of that. We get enough of that in our daily life. You know, I do want to share a story first, though. Yesterday, I was feeling very jittery. I was nervous. And I thought back, and I'd been nervous the day before. There was an anxiety to me. I found myself rehearsing upcoming conversations, you know, sort of looking forward with a little sense of dread. Just, I wasn't my usual self. And I wondered, well, what is going on? Why am I feeling this way? What's behind this? And it didn't take very long for me to realize I've been drinking Morning Thunder tea for the last 4 days. That's a very heavily caffeinated tea. I'm not used to caffeine. I thought, this would be a good thing to try out. You know, all these people around me like coffee, and coffee doesn't agree with my system, so I'll do a caffeine tea. It was the caffeine in the tea that was causing me to be jittery, that was giving me the shakes a little bit. That was easy to figure out and to stop. So I stopped drinking the tea, the jitters are up, no problem. A lot of times when the cause of a behavior is external, we can identify it very readily and decide if we're going to continue doing it or not continue. But if the cause is internal, it takes a different level of perceptive ability to figure out what's driving the behavior, what's causing the discomfort. So that's going to be one of the main focuses of this part of the course. Going to be encouraging people to share their experiences, to see how the 4 agreements and other Toltec teachings that are presented during this course, how they can be integrated into our individual lives. And if there's a place where it doesn't seem to work or not sure how to approach a particular situation, the encouragement is share it with the group. And let's look at it. Let's figure it out together. Already a group energetic has started to set up. We're forming a tribe. We're coming together from a deep place. And we're going to go to even deeper places together. So I invite you all to be a regular part of this program. Love to have you with us for each of the 4 coming weeks, because we are going to go to some good places and we're going to do some good things. Oh, okay. Got a long comment here. I've always listened and followed their directions, and now I'm faced with the challenge of literally having to block out the advice and lectures of loved ones, friends, and family because I am eager to finally listen to my own voice. Yes. One of the reasons I've stuck with the Toltec path so long is that we are the ultimate authority. We're the ones who have the final say about our life. So the 4 agreements, while they're great guidelines, great principles to follow in disconnecting from old patterns that have kept us small, it's not like they're commandments. You're not enjoined to do it this way. You're encouraged to find your own way. Yet there are truths that are helpful to most of us, especially most of us Westerners, helpful in allowing us to look inside and to see what our truths are. That implies that we have the strength to disconnect, at least in part, from some of the societal programming that we were all raised with. And that takes a lot of energy. So that's another thing we'll be working with. How do you raise the energy to make a radical shift like that? So this is going to be a very practical course. Going to help you in whatever ways you want help, because you will be submitting questions. You will be chatting during these sessions. You will be the focus of this course. So to close, I'd like to lead you through one more exercise. And again, I ask you to close your eyes, settle in, focusing on the breath, the physical sensations of the breath, bringing us present in this moment, bringing us into stillness. From this place of quiet, I ask you to direct your attention down to the root chakra, right at the base of the spine. That area that is so often associated with the energy of earth. And I ask you to imagine a flame in the center of your body, springing from this area. Can take whatever color appears to you. What I'm seeing right now is yellow with some purple streaks in it. But whatever color appears to you is the correct color. Now I want you to just keep an eye on this flame as we go through something together. I want you to feel that you are within your power right now. The term is usually standing in your power, but I guess now We're sitting in our power. Not power over another person, but power to be yourself, to be your own authority. So note how that feels and also see what the flame looks like. Is it changing at all? With this empowerment comes confidence, feeling secure in yourself, not needing outside supports or approval, feeling centered. And part of this centeredness is a fearlessness. Again, look to the flame, see what it's doing, simply note it. Don't have to think about it a lot. What's this feel like? Being beyond fear. Being fully open to yourself. And being balanced. All aspects of yourself, all levels of yourself, functioning together harmoniously. Everything in sync, just as it should be. Again, looking to the flame and feeling in your body. And I ask you to hold on to this feeling a little bit. You can open your eyes now. Still feeling this. This is where we're headed. We want to make this our baseline, our usual. We want to be able to bring these feelings, these sensations, into our everyday life. We want to have this at home. We want to have this at work. We want to have this as we meet the challenges of our individual lives. We'd love to have you along for the ride. I hope you sign up. Good night, all.